So we think, EDC thinks that the town is at a point that we have enough commercial properties, and I think I see the first selectman has a list color-coded, very similar to the list I have. And we're not in the business of selling properties. Steve, me, and, we're not in the business of selling property, but we have a lot of property that we want to put back on the tax rolls. The point being is, if it's sitting there, not doing anything, we own it, and we're not collecting taxes, it's lost revenue. So we need somebody to get out there and sell these properties. And this proposal here, basically, I'll go through the list again with you. Select an agency or an agent to market all town-owned commercial properties. You notice I say commercial properties, not talking about real residential.
Excuse me, are we talking commercial and residential? What are we talking?
I'm talking commercial.
Okay,
Yep,
commercial.
strictly commercial.
Okay.
Number 2, no commission or agent cost. We should find somebody to do that for us. Okay? Pie in the sky? Maybe, maybe not. Next item, full sale prices collected by the town. We're not going to give any monies away. It's town property we're selling. Agreement length of time is 1 year with an automatic 1-year renewal unless it's canceled by either party. So we say, next week we're done, whatever, Board of Selectmen again has the final approval on any and all property sales. And number 6, documented operating cost, maximum of 1% of sale price allowed after the transaction is completed. In other words, if we're not collecting, we're not paying a commission, real estate commission, we should be willing to pay a few bucks for whatever filings or things that.
In lieu of a commission.
Yeah, right, office expenses, but they have to be documented. So that's basically how I see this thing working out. And here again, we go out with an RFP and say, who's interested?
Tom, I just want to point out that, and I get the point here, all town sale property will be before a town meeting. That's the form of government we have, so
Yes, yes.
that would be a part of, just for
Yeah,
clarification, we all know that,
yeah.
but just to point out as part of the record.
If I could, a couple of things, and we don't know this, so I'm just putting it on the table. On item 6, the documented operating cost, maximum 1% of sale price. There may be agents that would accept that in lieu of a commission. Commercial property can go anywhere from 10%, and my average is like 3.5% in most states that I sell property in. If I get a agreeable broker that will
Well,
work with
these are
me.
recommendations.
Yeah, I
The
understood.
guys that are important to know are gonna make the proper numbers.
Understood, but it'd be wonderful if we had a qualified agent, we RFP or what have you. We get one that will donate their time,
Yep.
and the 1% would represent a contingency. Really, they're operating on a contingency. And real cost would be presented as to when, if and when a sale transaction happens. So with that being said, the rest of what you have outlined here is good, Tom. Yeah, it's good.
Can I ask Phil a question? You seem to have a lot of experience in this. If we were able to get that qualified, we all agree is qualified EDC, that's a good deal with the 1%, obviously.
If that's all they're willing to charge, Kevin, then that's an excellent, I call it a commission. By however we label this, 1% is outstanding.
Yeah, okay.
It's outstanding. So with that being said, absolutely.
Tom, I know that we do have another property that went on, it was foreclosed on, it's on Route 138. I believe the selectmen have that in their packet. And you probably, I don't know if you know about this, Petrello's gas station
Yes,
across
I do.
there, that is commercially zoned over there.
Yep.
And talking with Richard Grabowski today, there's unfortunately a very large list of properties in the town pre-foreclosure. In fact, I believe there's a meeting scheduled with he and the town's attorney next week to discuss and identify those potential. I think you're going to see that, unfortunately, the commercial list grow. And some significant lots are up for possible foreclosure.
Being a town government myself here, I see the picture of the handwriting on the wall. You're right, the list is gonna grow. Are we just gonna sit on it? Because I'm sure not an expert or any real estate sales, Steve, I don't know, but you have the most experience, Phil, but it's not our business. We need somebody to get out, market it. However the venue they use to market it, whether it's advertising or the media, social media, however they do it.
Absolutely.
We need somebody to do it.
It's not, I agree 100%, Tom. It's not doing us any good with what we've been sitting on and what we're going to be sitting on.
That's right.
Even worse.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think that's why I stated earlier, this is an excellent idea, and to have somebody actively work for, once we identify, you're not gonna swamp the market. We're basically gonna identify Board of Selectmen, EDC, we're gonna identify. This is primed, let's move this one for, I don't think any broker in his right mind is gonna take 10 properties at one time. They are going to try to do justice on maybe 2 at a time.
Right.
I can't speak for them, but I just based on
Well,
experience.
let me add this, that this board needs to be kept with an up-to-date list of all commercial properties that come onto the town.
Right.
And we need a description of them, so that we, for our own purposes, we know what we're talking about, okay?
I would suspect we could get a quarterly list out to everybody, or?
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to, if we're gonna go forward with this kind of program, then the selectmen need to know what kind of commercial properties may come onto the market, or come onto the market as a foreclosure, or whatever.
Right.
Kevin just referred to it, that there may be more commercial property coming down through foreclosure, so we need to know what those properties are, if we're gonna be partners in this effort to try to market it.
Right, yeah.
So what would be your recommendation on how to proceed with it? Would it be
Well,
an RFQ or RFP? What do you, RFQ, I assume?
Yeah, I think the board could act this evening to authorize an RFP to go out for this purpose.
Well, why don't we wait till we have a meeting with the NCDC person?
Two separate topics.
Well, I don't know, I thought we may have, the purpose of that meeting was to discuss things and talk about how the program works.
The revolving loan, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is separate, this is,
You're talking about the real estate?
Yeah, real
Oh,
estate,
excuse me.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the School Street property, like for example, we know that property's there, that would probably be the first one you'd probably start with. I'm just,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm just saying.
No, you make a good point, Kevin, but in all honesty, we have a list here. This is, Kevin represents the most current list of
That's
town
right, yeah,
property.
that's right.
Great. So with that being said, I'm gonna suggest that the Board of Selectmen and the EDC, if, we can have a joint meeting at any time, sit down and let's state the priorities here as to which is the one that we wanna start with,
Yeah.
which are the first 2 we wanna start
I-
with. But first step is to RFP, or RFQ, or both,
Right.
to the brokerages. I'd love to see the locals get the first shot.
Absolutely.
But the point being, this is what I'd like to
Yeah.
see. If we take it by step, let's see if one will work with us first and foremost. Then we can look and review, suggest which should be the first 1 or 2 on the chopping block.
That,
Does this make
I
sense?
think, once we do get an agent or agency involved like that, we all sit down and some outside pressures that we're not aware of or trends
Absolutely.
are gonna be brought out, and then at that point, what you're saying is correct. We need to prioritize.
But we need to make a motion to let Tom go forward with that today?
So, I just want to be clear, the motion would be to go out RFP for an agent.
Commercial
that would
agent.
Work with the town to market property, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be commercial agent.
That's
All
correct.
right. I don't have a problem with that.
All right. Then I'll make a motion to authorize Chairman of Griswold EDC to begin an RFP out to local agents, if they so choose, which I recommend. And for the proposal that we see before us presented by Mr. Giard and the EDC and marketing of town commercial properties.
And that's in accordance with the motion, like, is guided by the standards that they set here.
Right.
Okay, sure. I'll second the motion.
We have a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and the board.
Yep. Okay. Moving on to E. Discussion and possible action on the reappointment of Erica Beavis as an alternate member of the Recreation Commission for a term of 1/14/2015 to 1/13/2016. We all know Erica.
Yeah,
so-
and I'll make a motion to reappoint Erica Beavis as an alternate member of the Recreation Commission for said term of 1/14/2015 to 1/13/2016, with just a side comment that Ms. Beavis has been nothing but an asset for the Recreation Commission, And it seems like she's been there from the beginning, so no brainer there.
Yes, I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries, thank you. Moving on to F, and this is discussion and possible action on setting a special town meeting date of April 8th, 2015 at 6 p.m. at the Griswold High School cafeteria to vote on whether or not to appropriate up to $45,934 for the capital non-recurring fund to pay for the building security upgrades at Griswold Public School. Steve, before we actually, we'll get a motion and then I'll take some, I want to get your reaction because you're on capital improvements, I think you've
Yeah,
heard this.
well, the history here is that we had money in the capital improvement budget that we were formulating, and we needed to cut that capital improvement budget to get the mill rate down, and so as a capital improvement committee, we had to cut $20,000 out of that budget, and the finance board sort of like preempted us and helped us out by funding this project of the security upgrades at the school through the LoCIP program.
Right.
So that money came out of our capital improvement budget. So, and there may be the possibility of a reimbursement on this since it's through the school, but I'm not quite sure on that. So this is a recommendation really of the Board of Finance, because they acted on it, and now they're sending it to us to set a town meeting, and which the Board of Selectmen, that's our authority to set the town meeting. So that's the history here, and I think it's a good move.
Good, I agree 100%, so you want to make a motion, Steve?
Well, I'll make a motion just by reading it again, that the Board of Selectmen set a special town meeting date for April 8th, 2015 at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Griswold High School cafeteria to vote whether or not to appropriate up to $45,934 from the capital non-recurring fund to pay for building security upgrades at the Griswold Public Schools.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries, thank you. Old business. Any other business that may properly come before the board, either Phil or Steve?
Do we have any?
I do have just one thing, it's, I think it's relatively minor, but it's concerning again, everyone knows, or most know, that I'm a member of the Bicentennial Committee, and the last meeting.
Excuse me, Phil.
Yes.
Just want a motion to bring it on.
Yes, well, I'm just describing what the topic is.
Taking a long way to get there.
Maybe update from
Yeah,
Bicentennial?
basically an update from, we'll call it that.
All right,
And then I'll get into it.
Yeah, we got a motion.
Motion to bring onto the agenda the update on the Bicentennial Committee
Good,
progress.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, Phil.
Okay, now, and again, it's just really basically a non-attending member has only attended 2 meetings since the beginning of the committee, and the board is asking, the committee rather, is asking the board to consider one individual who has been attending the meetings. She is currently a subcommittee chairperson and with no membership, if you will. So one piece was was minutes. There was discussed, but there was never a motion taken at that point. So I'm looking for guidance from my colleagues here. I can name the person that wants the full-time, who has been nothing but helpful in attending straight throughout since the inception of the committee, but is not a member. And I can also state the individual. We did send out a letter requesting that individual that did not attend to agree to resignation, but I don't feel it's necessary because it doesn't even return phone calls, etc. I'm not naming names at this point.
Right. So,
Did we lift the cap on that though anyways, didn't we?
no, we don't really have a cap.
I know, but I thought we talked about that maybe a year ago.
We increased the membership.
Oh, we did,
We
okay.
did, we increased the
We're
membership.
talking about putting a person who wants to be on the committee and being a voting member, who's active. We shouldn't quibble about it. We should put the person on through your recommendation, because you got work to do. And so let's just, if you want, bring the person's name out and make, we need to make a motion to add to the agenda under any other business, to appoint this person to the committee.
Can I nominate
Please
that?
do.
Yeah.
Okay, please, thank you.
So that's my motion, do we wanna?
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to add to the Griswold Bicentennial Committee, C.C. Norwood. That's C.E.C.E. Norwood, N-O-R-W-O-O-D. As a full-time member of the Bicentennial Committee.
Okay, yeah, of course. First and
Okay.
second, you got a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you,
Motion
gentlemen.
carries. Teller, thank you for volunteering, we appreciate it. Any other business that might come before us? Steve, if there's no other business, I do want to bring up one young man in the audience today. Matthew, Lisa, help me with the last name.
Perminsky.
You want to come up here, buddy? He is a Cub Scout, is that right, Matthew?
Mm-hmm.
And part of his Cub Scout's responsibility is he has to come to a meeting, a town meeting, and he's here tonight. Did you eat all your snacks already?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. How were they? Good, okay, I can see a little red around your lips. Do you have any questions? This is Mr. Anthony, Phil.
Nice to meet you, hi.
This is Mr. Mike Tell, Steve.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And so do you have any questions of us at all that you might, I mean, you can ask us anything about playgrounds, more recess time, more TV time at home, anything you want, you let us know. Nothing? You gotta ask him a question.
Well, you know what? How you doing at school?
Good. Do you like school?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Well,
who's your
that's
teacher?
good.
Who's a Bettini?
Bettini? She nice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because if she wasn't, I'll send Phil over there to take care of her.
Don't be afraid of me, trust me, you have nothing to worry about.
Anyway, you just pay attention to school and you'll go far, okay?
All right,
And thank you for coming to our meeting, Mike.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Tell your dad to bring you by, we're gonna do a letter up for you, okay? So you can show your Cub Scouts. All right, buddy? Thank you.
You're welcome.
The highlight of our meeting.
There it is. Okay, moving on, if there's no other, public forum, discussion and possible, we're gonna go into the public forum before we
Public
do.
forum.
Yep. Just as a reminder, we respect everyone, 2 minutes, I believe our timer is out there, our official timer, thank you. And 2 minutes, we have a crowd today, so we'll try to go through everyone first, if we have more time, we'll go back around, if not, we'll try to accommodate everyone's questions. The first thing on there is discussion on the proposal to increase the Board of Selectmen from 3 members to a body of 5 members. And so we open up the floor now. Anyone with any questions on the floor? Yes, sir. Just state your name and your address.
Julian Smith, Quarry Road. Just wanted to ask why this came about, and is it because you've seen this model work elsewhere, or what the reasoning behind it was?
Well, actually, Julian, what happened is under our town form of government, we have the ability, we, the people, the voters, have the ability to push forward a petition. And it was done in that format. So the petition came to the Board of Selectmen, which we heard. And at that time, the question, as stated, is to expand from 3 to 5. That was the extent of the question, the question that was proposed. There's been a lot of questions since it started about, money and some other things. But the actual question that we're going to be acting on for this referendum, for this process, is to expand the Board of Selectmen from 3 to 5. To your answer, I think we've all been doing research. Steve's taken the lead, sort of as the contact with the town's attorney on this. So I guess I'm not trying to cut you off, but Steve, if you want to maybe throw some.
No, it's really, people have to take some time and think about it, because there's going to be, it's a consequential vote. It's an important vote, and we want people to get it right for the town. And whatever the town decides through a referendum vote, we're going to live with. But we need to understand that there's consequences to every vote. When you change the structure of the board, it may work better, it may not work better. So people have to make that decision for themselves.
Could I just ask, is the model normally 3 or is it 5?
So I can speak to that too, because I've done some research on it. Of the towns in the state of Connecticut, and I'm just referring to the state of Connecticut, 18 towns have 5-member boards, and 75 towns have 3-member boards. The other cities have town manager, council form of government. So, you know, it doesn't, the predominant